A warm welcome to, I think this is the 14th Axis Community event that we've held. Wow. Who was there at the original one? Is there anybody who's managed to sustain? Oh, bless.
I like the idea.
Two of us. You like the idea? I think it's your first, isn't it?
I've missed a few though.
You missed one or two. Fantastic. A big welcome. This is the first of 2009. Tonight's sort of main theme we've been wanting to do for, it's been on the books for about 6 months. We're debating which order to do the events in. I think it's quite poignant that we set up to do an event on, you know, surviving hard times and strategies to work through hard times and, you know, maybe even expand through them. And one of the first and earliest casualties is the very place that we're sitting now, which is Cass Bar and Scruffy's. What we're going to do at all these Axis community events this year is we're going to launch a new course each event, and we're just going to have 5 or 10 minutes with Paul Truby. And this guy here, I don't know whether you recognise, is officially the king of the geeks. But at the Axis community events, he was voted almost unanimously.
And the second best beard.
Only the second best beard, which I found very disappointing. And he's going to be here to just give us 5 or 10 minutes about two courses we're quite excited about. In the past, what we've always done in terms of courses to do with e-commerce is we've always just done stuff that was aimed at techies. So if you wanted to learn MySQL and PHP and ASP and some of the sort of heavy-duty scripting languages, we could do that. We've done that for a long time. But what we haven't had is anything that's really usable for an entrepreneur who wanted to get into selling online very quickly without really knowing or needing to know much of that sort of depth. And Paul's come up and developed what look like 2 fantastic courses for us. Final thing to say is that every time we launch one of these, we're going to give a 50% discount off for everybody who sort of comes along. They're already a bit ridiculously cheap anyway, but it means you get to spend time with this guy for about £12 a day or something absolutely ridiculous like that. But anyway, Paul, come and tell us about the courses.
And we came up, I think, with 3 different sorts of people that we think we might be talking to. First, there's the person who says, I've got a website, it's got just a limited number of things that I want to sell, I don't know, a few tens, perhaps 100, something like that, and I'd like to be able to sell them online as simply as possible. I don't want to get involved in spending lots of money, I don't want to get involved in learning lots of new languages, I just want to get it done simply and easily. That's our first target. Our second target person that we're thinking about is someone who says, I'm a bit more advanced than that. I've actually got a whole catalogue of things that I'd like to be able to sell via my website. I'm prepared to put a bit of work into it, but I don't want to get all technical about it. I'm not a techie. I don't want to start learning new programming languages, databases, etc. So that's our second sort of person. And then finally, there is the person who says, I want to be able to offer shopping carts as part of the websites that I produce. I am prepared to get fairly technical. I'm prepared to learn languages, and I want to go the whole way with it and be able to offer these things on the sites that I create. And so we've thought through dividing things up into those 3 different levels of working with e-commerce. 2 courses, adding a basic shopping cart, using a third-party shopping cart from PayPal. Very simple, very easy to follow through, and simply plug the shopping cart into your website. Advanced shopping cart integration, you're provided with modules written in PHP and MySQL that will enable you to integrate the shopping cart right into your website with search. And finally, just a quick reminder, if you actually want to go the whole way and start learning programming yourself, PHP and MySQL courses starting this week and in May.
I'm well known for kind of getting a bit over-enthusiastic and making stuff up, but this bit I'm about to tell you now is actually true. This is Nick Eastwood, and Nick has negotiated literally hundreds of millions of pounds worth of sales with various organisations.
Well, first of all, thank you for letting me come and stand and talk in front of you. I'm actually grateful for that. I've not done a great deal of standing up for a long time, so if I'm not doing it right, just correct me, will you? What we're going to talk about today, obviously, is sales strategies. We're going to do a little bit of history, kind of where's this recession suddenly come from, you know, or hasn't it suddenly come? Then we're going to talk about selling skills. Now then, what I prefer to do, I've 36 PowerPoints. If you shut up, I'll be done in 10 minutes. However, what I prefer is, as I'm going through them, if there's anything you think, actually, that's relevant to my business, just ask me, yeah? Stop me and ask. I'm a salesman, I'm trained to be adaptable and flexible, apparently. As Johnny said, yes, we used to negotiate sugar contracts in South America, which was not the best place, and they'd take you in helicopter into the jungle to the sugar mills, and as you were coming into land, there'd be a ring of armed guards and armoured personnel carriers, and you're like...
Are you sure it was sugar?
Well, there's also, but that's another... That bought the Ferrari, please don't talk about that, yeah? Yeah, and you used to land, negotiate within 3 hours and get out, because if the local bandits knew that there was somebody from the UK, from a big company, they were in like a shot, and you'd go into the jungle for 12 months until somebody paid you ransom. Weird place, weird place. And yeah, you're right, in Russia, they lost a full train of sugar. How the hell do you lose a train of sugar? But you wouldn't believe it sometimes, so I won't recount too much. As Johnny said, yeah, I worked for Unilever for 10 years. Unilever, if you don't know him, is Hellmann's, mayonnaise, Noah. It's a big, big food company. It's kind of the second biggest on the planet. Supplying companies such as Tesco, Sainsbury's, Waitrose, you name it. Boots occasionally, because there's two ladies here from ex-Boots, I should say. You've crossed to the light side now from the dark side, so I'll talk to you. I then worked for a company called ABF. Again, which you probably won't know, probably the biggest brand is Silver Spoon Sugar. Hence why I used to have to go to South Africa and buy cocaine and sugar at the same time. So that's my background, is dealing with large multinational companies. We've been in business 3 years. What we do is help people sell, because that's what we do for a job. If there's a short-term gap in they lose the national sales manager, we go in and do that until they recruit somebody. Now, you might think, you know, your average size SMEs, as I am now, what's that got to do with me talking about the big companies like that? Actually, it's got quite a lot to do with them, because the way that they actually run the business, if you're a one-person company or a 20,000 million person company, it's the same principles, and it's those same principles and practices that will actually get you through any recession. You're struggling with that camera, right? Because I'm going backwards and forwards. Sorry about that. So what we're going to talk about, recession and market correction, lessons from the past, case studies, and it's personal, not business. I'm going to fly through that bit. Then we'll get on to the big bit, the selling tips, the internal, the supplier, and the face-to-face bit, which is hopefully what you're probably interested in. Okay, recession and market correction. Was anybody surprised that recession suddenly came along? No, yeah. It's been coming for 2 years, absolute fact. What's been happening in America, we've all seen it coming. We've all known it's coming. We've all bought a new television or a new car, and we've just carried on. We've got another 125% mortgage because we've carried on. But we knew it's coming, and that's human nature. If you know there's disaster coming, in the main, we don't tend to save and think, it's coming. We wait till, and then we react. It's human nature, and it's happened many, many times before. Now, to actually be in a recession is obviously, if you're an SME, if you're a big company, whatever, it can be quite distressing times. But what you really need to look at, as I said, you know, the economy's been overheating for years. Easily available credit, 125% mortgages, crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It is a market correction. It will sort out, as we say, the wheat from the chaff. It's a fact. It's happened 3 times in my selling career up to now, and it will happen probably 2 or 3 more times. Hopefully it'll last that long. But it happens, and you know, tough. It's happened. Just get on with it, and that's really the kind of the attitude that you need to think about. Okay. Lessons from the past. Major brands have failed before. You know, everybody's worrying about the likes of Woolworths and what's happening at the moment. Brands fail, companies fail. A lot of major brands survive, they consolidate, and they grow. Now, actually, why do they do that? There's quite a few reasons. As I said, I worked for Unilever really when we hit the last big recession, and yeah, it was difficult. I was at the time in charge of Sainsbury's. At nearly £30 million targets hitting Sainsbury's, and in the first month I was £3 million down. Don't panic.